lives in Rome. He likes hats. One day he is at a street market near the Colosseum. Suddenly, he stops. "I like that hat," he says. Bernardo buys the hat. "I can put it in a bag for you," the woman says. "No, it's okay," Bernardo says. "I can wear it." "Put my old hat in the bag, please." Bernardo arrives home. "Hello, Natalie," he says to his wife. "Do you like my new hat?" Natalie looks at him. She thinks, no. But she says, "Why do you want another hat, Bernardo?" "You have 20. I like hats," Bernardo says. "And I like this hat." Natalie sees some people in the street. They're laughing at Bernardo's hat. She thinks, "What can I do with it?" 2 days later, Natalie takes the hat to a store. The store buys and sells clothes. The man in the store buys Bernardo's hat that afternoon. Bernardo looks for his hat. "I can't find my hat, Natalie," he says. He looks in every room of the house. "I can buy you a new hat, Bernardo," Natalie says. She smiles. "Let's go to the store." 3 days later, Anna buys the hat. Anna is a student from the United States. She is in Rome on vacation. "I love this hat," she thinks. She smiles. "I can get some flowers for it." A week later, Anna gets an airplane home. She lives in California, near the ocean. That weekend, she goes down to the harbor. She goes to a cafe for a drink. Mitch is sitting in the cafe, too. He sees Anna's hat. "Who's under that hat?" Mitch thinks. Anna looks up and sees him. "Hi," Mitch says. "I love your hat." "Thank you," Anna says. She smiles. "I'm Mitch." Mitch says. "I'm Anna," Anna says. She thinks, "I like him. Maybe this is a lucky hat." Mitch moves to Anna's table. They talk about books and movies. Anna tells Mitch about Rome. "It's a good place for hats," she says. Mitch laughs. "A beautiful hat for a beautiful girl," he says. "Thank you," she says. "Come to the movies with me tomorrow, Anna," Mitch says. "Okay," Anna says. "Why not?" Suddenly, the wind takes Anna's hat away. "My hat." Anna says. The wind blows the hat out across the water. "It's okay," Mitch says. "Can I buy you a new hat?" "Do you know a store near here?" "Yes, I do," Anna says. "Thank you." She smiles at Mitch. It is early morning on a beach near the cafe. Cal sleeps on the beach with Sunny, his dog. Cal has no money and no home. Every day, he plays his guitar on the street. "Look, Sunny," he says. "A hat." "Go and get it." Cal plays his guitar on the street that morning. Many people stop and listen. They put money in the hat. "Look at this money, Sunny," Cal says. "This is a lucky hat. We can eat at the cafe today. And tomorrow." That night, a man comes to the beach. His name is Rod. He sees Cal and Sonny, he sees the hat, too, and smiles. That's a good hat, he thinks. He walks quietly across the beach. He takes the hat, then he walks away quickly. In the morning, Cal says to Sonny, "Where's my lucky hat?" Later that night, Rod goes into town. He goes to a store. He has a gun. "What do you want?" the woman in the store asks. "Give me the money," Rod says. Quickly, "Okay, okay," the woman says. Rod takes the money and runs from the store. The woman calls the police. "He's tall and thin," she says. "And he's wearing a green and yellow hat." Later, two policemen see Rod on the street. "He's wearing a green and yellow hat," one policeman says. "And he's tall and thin," his friend says. "It's him." Suddenly, Rod sees them. He runs. It's this hat, he thinks. It isn't a lucky hat. He throws away the hat. The hat falls into a taxi. A young woman, Gina, is in the taxi. She laughs. "That's lucky," she thinks. "I can wear this hat." The taxi arrives at Los Angeles Airport. "Are you going on vacation?" the taxi driver asks Gina. "No, I'm going home to Italy," Gina answers. A day later, Gina is in Rome. It's a beautiful city, she thinks. "And it's my city." A man stops and looks at her hat. Gina sees him. "Do you like hats?" Gina asks him. "I love hats," Bernardo says. The year is 1935. The place is Hollywood. The Los Angeles newspapers call him the Cat. He steals at night. Tonight he is at a house in the Hollywood Hills. The people in the house are having a party. They cannot see or hear the cat. He is on the roof. "I need to get to that window," he thinks. Minutes later, he is making a hole in the window. The cat opens the window and gets into a bedroom. He listens, but everything is quiet in the room. The only noise is the party. "Now I must find the jewels," he thinks. It only takes him a minute or two to find them. "I can get hundreds of dollars for these," he thinks. Moving quickly, he puts them into his bag and leaves. Next day, at Starshine Studios, Zach Wakeman is making a movie. The star of the movie is Natalie Nevins. She begins to act. "Okay, Natalie," Zach says. "Act very afraid. You want to get out of the building. You look up. You can't see Brad. But Brad, you can see Natalie, and you're waiting for her." "Okay," says Zach. "Now bring on the stand-ins." The stand-ins are Nathan and Bud. They do all the dangerous things in the movie, all the stunts. Nathan is Natalie's stand-in, and Bud is Brad Poole's stand-in. "Good luck, Nathan," says Natalie. "Thanks, Miss Nevins," says Nathan. Brad says nothing to Bud. "Okay," calls Zach. "Begin to climb up the building, Nathan." The two stand-ins begin to act. Nathan climbs out of the window and up onto the roof of the building. Bud is waiting for him. At first you don't see Bud. Nathan, calls Zach. Now you do. And Bud, you try to stop Nathan, but he gets away. Nathan quickly gets away from Bud and runs across the roof of the building. Bud runs after him. Natalie Nevins is watching them. I can do that, she thinks. Nathan is very good, but I don't need a stand-in. Okay, everybody, calls Zach. We are beginning again in 20 minutes. I like your hair, Nathan, says Bud, laughing. It's very nice. You're very pretty. Nathan is angry, but he says nothing. He does not like Bud. Natalie goes to speak to Zach. What's wrong, Natalie? Zach asks, Mr. Wakeman, please can I do some of my stunts? Asks Natalie. I don't always need a stand-in. Sorry, Natalie, says Zach. The stunts are too dangerous. Why do you want to do your stunts, Natalie? Brad Poole asks her. I'm happy to leave the dangerous acting to Bud. Are you coming to my party tonight, Natalie? Zach asks. It begins at 8 o'clock. Yes, Mr. Wakeman, says Natalie. Me, too, says Brad. Zach goes to speak to Nathan. I can give you $20 to park the cars at my party tonight, Nathan, he says. Do you want to do it? Yes, please, Mr. Wakeman, says Nathan. That night, Natalie Nevins arrives at Zach Wakeman's house in the Hollywood Hills. Hi, Miss Nevins, says Nathan. Hi, Nathan, says Natalie. Are you working here tonight? Yes, says Nathan. I'm helping to park the cars. Why? Asks Natalie. Because I need the money, Nathan tells her. The cat is out again. This time, he is going to steal from Zach Wakeman's house. He leaves his car near the trees and waits. Quickly, he runs across to the building and begins to climb. Nathan does not see the cat. He is watching Natalie Nevins go into the house. There are lots of movie stars here tonight, he thinks. But Miss Nevins is the most beautiful. After some time, Nathan goes to look at the swimming pool. A minute later, he sees Natalie Nevins. She is coming out of the house. She has 2 drinks. I have a drink for you, Nathan, she says. Oh, thanks, Miss Nevins, says Nathan. You're a good stand-in, Nathan, she says. But I want to do some of my stunts in the movie. Mr. Wakeman says, no, but Suddenly, she sees someone running to the trees. Look, she says. Who's that? It's the cat, says Nathan. Remember him from the newspaper? He's going to that car. Quick, says Natalie. Let's get my car. Do you want me to drive? Nathan asks. I can drive really fast. No. Natalie tells him. I'm driving. Natalie drives fast and it is a dangerous road. Be careful, Miss Nevins, says Nathan. You have a movie to finish, remember. It's okay, I'm a good driver, she says. She smiles. And you can call me Natalie. Nathan smiles, too. Okay, he says, We're getting near to him, says Natalie. Yes, but look. There's a train coming, says Nathan. Natalie looks quickly. It's okay, she says. It's not going to hit us. The train is moving fast. We aren't going to do it, says Nathan. Yes, we are. Natalie tells him, wow. That was close, says Nathan. Natalie laughs, and says nothing. Suddenly, two policemen see Natalie's car. Look at them, says one policeman. How fast are they going, Joe? Too fast, Sam, says Joe. Let's stop them. It's not going to be easy, says Sam, but let's go. Suddenly, Nathan sees the police car. Natalie, he says. What is it? She asks. There's a police car behind us, says Nathan. It wants us to stop. I'm not stopping, she says. It's okay, we can tell them everything later. First we have to stop the cat. Suddenly, the cat sees the police car, too. Oh, no, he says. I need to get out of this car. He stops his car and runs. Soon after, Natalie and Nathan are jumping from Natalie's car. The cat looks back and sees them. They're stopping, too, he thinks. So, who can run the fastest? Minutes later, the police car stops near Natalie's car. The two policemen jump out and look for Natalie and Nathan. Where are they? Sam asks Joe. I don't know, says Sam. I can't see them. There are too many people. There he is, says Natalie. There's the cat. He's running to that building, says Nathan. Let's go, says Natalie, and she runs after the cat. Nathan runs after her. He's going up to the roof, he says, and the three of them begin to climb up to the roof of the building. The cat throws his bag at Natalie. She does not see it, but Nathan does. Natalie, the bag, he calls. The bag does not hit Natalie, but it hits Nathan. Nathan, are you all right? Calls Natalie. I'm okay, says Nathan. The cat and Natalie run across the roof of the building. Then, the cat jumps from one building to the next. Natalie watches him. Can I do that? She thinks. Natalie jumps. Nathan sees her. Wow! Look at her, he thinks. The cat sees her, too. How can I get away from her? He thinks. He cannot get away from her. Got you, says Natalie, and she jumps on him. So who are you? She takes off the cat's mask. You, she says. It's Bud, says Nathan. The policemen arrive and look from Natalie to Bud and back again. It's the movie star, Natalie Nevins, says Joe. Yes, says Sam. And the cat. The next day, Nathan and Natalie tell Zach their story. Bud is the cat? He asks. That's right, says Natalie. And you want to be Brad's new stand-in? Zach says to Nathan. Okay, but we need a new stand-in for Natalie. Who can do her stunts? Natalie doesn't need a stand-in, says Nathan, laughing. She can do her stunts. Chapter 1. The Wolf. A prince called Llewellyn once lived in a big stone castle in Wales. He had only one baby son. His beautiful wife died when the baby was born. Llewellyn loved his son more than anything in the world. Prince Llewellyn was rich and important. He had a lot of brave soldiers and loyal servants. He also had an old, loyal dog called Gellert. Gellert always traveled with the prince and fought with him in a lot of battles. He was the bravest dog in Wales and the prince's most loyal friend. Gellert loved Llewellyn's son very much and always protected him. "You're my best friend, Gellert," the prince often said. "I trust you more than anyone in the world. Only you can look after my son." Gellert was always happy when the prince spoke to him. One sunny day there was a big hunt on Prince Llewellyn's lands. There were a lot of hunting dogs and hunters on their horses near the castle. Llewellyn heard the hunting horns and got ready for the hunt. "I must go hunting today, Gellert," said the prince. "It's the first hunt of the season and it's a beautiful day." Gellert looked at his master and barked happily. He liked hunting and wanted to go too. "No, Gellert," said the prince. "You must stay by my son's cradle and protect him until I come back." Gellert looked up at the prince and listened carefully. "Protect my son with your life," said the prince. "I trust only you, because you're my most loyal friend. I know you understand me." He patted Gellert lovingly and the dog wagged his tail happily. The prince's son slept in the wooden cradle in his bedroom. Gellert went to the cradle and looked at the sleeping baby. Then he lay down on the floor next to the cradle and put his nose between his paws. Prince Llewellyn was ready for the hunt and looked at the cradle again before leaving. "Sleep well, my dear son," said the prince, smiling. "You're safe with old Gellert. He'll look after you until I come back." Then Prince Llewellyn left the castle with the other hunters. Everything was peaceful and silent for some time in the baby's bedroom. But after a few hours Gellert heard a noise. Something was standing outside the door and was trying to get in. Gellert knew there was danger because he could hear growling. He got up quietly, went to the door and saw a wolf looking at him. He was much taller than Gellert, but he was thin. He was very hungry because it was difficult to find food at the end of winter. He smelled the baby inside the room and he wanted to eat it. Gellert looked angrily at the wolf's eyes. They stood at the door for a few minutes growling at each other. Then suddenly the hungry wolf jumped towards the cradle. Chapter 2. The Fight. Gellert jumped on the hungry wolf and pulled him away from the cradle with his strong teeth. He did not want to wake up the sleeping baby. The black wolf was a strong fighter. He bit Gellert's neck and legs, but the old dog continued fighting bravely. Nothing could stop Gellert. It was a long, terrible fight. But the baby slept peacefully and did not wake up. Suddenly the cradle turned over and the baby fell onto the stone floor, but still he did not wake up. During the fight, both animals were hurt and there was blood on the floor, on the walls and on the baby's white blanket. Gellert was badly hurt, but he did not stop fighting. He knew he had to protect the prince's son. He bit the wolf's throat very hard, and suddenly the wolf was silent. He slowly went to a dark corner of the room and died. Gellert went to the sleeping baby and looked at him. He took the white blanket with his teeth and pulled it over the baby. Then he lay down and fell asleep. He was very tired after the long fight, but he was happy because the baby was safe. That night Prince Llewellyn returned from the hunt. He immediately went to see his son. When the prince walked into the room, Gellert got up and went to him. The prince saw the empty cradle. "What happened here?" he cried, looking at Gellert. Then he saw the blood on the walls, on the floor, on the white blanket and on the baby's face. But he did not see the dead wolf in the dark corner of the room. "Oh, no," cried the prince. His face was red with anger. "Gellert, what did you do? You killed my son, my only son. And I trusted only you." He took his sword and raised it high above the dog's head. Gellert jumped up and barked happily. He wanted to play. He wanted praise because he saved the baby's life. He looked at the prince with his big, brown eyes, trying to tell him something. But the prince was very angry and killed Gellert with his sword. The poor dog fell at the prince's feet. Suddenly the baby woke up and started crying. He was on the cold, stone floor, and he was hungry. When Prince Llewellyn heard the baby crying, his sword fell on the floor. He was alive. He looked around the room and saw the dead wolf in a dark corner. Then he understood. There was a terrible fight in this room between Gellert and the wolf, he thought. The wolf wanted to eat my son and Gellert protected him. What did I do? He cried angrily. I killed Gellert. Oh, what a terrible mistake. He put his face in his hands and started crying. He could not stop. He looked at Gellert's body and saw the bites of the wolf. He slowly took the dog's body in his arms. My great and loyal friend, said the prince, crying. You fought bravely against the wolf and saved my son's life. But I didn't understand. I'm very sorry, Gellert. Prince Llewellyn looked at his dog and said, I'll always remember the first time we went hunting. And all the battles we fought together. Oh, what will I do without you, Gellert? Prince Llewellyn could never forget that terrible day. He decided to bury Gellert in the graveyard of the village. On that day, people from the castle and the village were there. Everyone was very sad. Every morning Prince Llewellyn brought beautiful flowers to Gellert's tomb and said, Good morning, old friend. If you visit the graveyard of Bedgelert in Wales today, you can see the old tombstone and read